Hello, welcome to Lore Master's Lair. I am your Lore Master, here today for week 4 of Archdevil Month. This week, we bring you the last of our devils, as Beelzebub of the 7th Ring is still missing the Alpha write-up. So we now look at the face of Hell itself, Mephistopheles. Let's get started. Starting off, as always, with where you can find information on Mephistopheles yourself. First, reliable information, as always, is found first in the Two Gods and Magic books, as well as the more recent Divine Mysteries. As an Archdevil, his information is also reflected in the Book of the Damned. Then most of the pieces were put together in the back matter in the 6th book of the Hell's Rebels Adventure Path, held Breaking the Bones of Hell. Mephistopheles' home can be found both in the Book of the Damned as well as Plain Adventures. And then finally, side tangents can be found in the Book of the Damned as well as Bestiary 6. Unfortunately, the recent Starfinder books do not have information on the 8th Circle of Hell and its changes yet. The planes have existed an unimaginable amount of time, stretching back to, for the most ancient, the beginning of the universe itself. In that time, it is not too outlandish, some have begun thinking for themselves. So too did Asmodeus find hell when he took over, wanting to both learn from this consciousness and bend it to his will. He went to the very depths of hell and tore hell from itself, molding it into a form fit for an archdevil. So Mephistopheles was created. Mephistopheles is known to resemble Asmodeus, with humanoid, with red skin and black hair, and general devilish features. What differentiates the two are Mephistopheles' 3 sets of rings, one of black feathers, one dragon red, and one of burning bone. Of course, what completes this look will be the topic of today's first side tangent, the part to show where the pen truly is mightier than the sword. And to talk about it, we have... Hello. I'm the Laughing Salesman, here for one last treasure of hell before my cart leaves again. And this is a fine one. Mephistopheles' own adamantine quill, Vicinir. It can be wielded as a +1 adamantine keen runing dagger, but why when words are so much more powerful? In this case, it can be used as a full round action to inscribe any number of sigils. However, if one does use it in battle, it can store up to 33 samples of blood, giving the user bane against all those it has the blood of, making them able to be hit by any spell as long as they are within a mile, and make it so they can be summoned as if through a planar binding spell. Now, if that is not the true art of the deal, I don't know what is. As the keeper of the secrets of hell, his mark is rarely shown. While his true holy symbol is emblazoned on his shrines, these never are seen by the eyes outside the faith, and his followers wear imitations which look nothing like the true symbol, but which matches the symbol. Usually you are never aware you are dealing with the followers of Mephistopheles until you are already ensnared. Mephistopheles never sought worship, but he is followed alongside Asmodeus for his mastery of rules and law. This mastery intensified as Asmodeus brought forth the first Infernal Contract to condemn the souls of mortals to hell. His worshippers are encouraged to follow contracts, but to ensure they are made in one's favor, and in ways that other parties do not realize it is so. If there is one thing all followers of the Crimson Sun are united in, it is following the law. But where does that connection to contracts come from? Why, side tangent 2, of course, the sealed skein. This is the name of the bargain made with Asmodeus to rip apart hell and give birth to Asmodeus. To give birth to Mephistopheles. I'm sure Asmodeus would like to say that he gave birth to himself, but that's not who we're talking about today. While the contents of the sealed skein is unknown, we know the result, and we know that this is counted as the very first Infernal Contract. So with the birth of Mephistopheles comes the birth of devils and their contracts and unfair bargains. The faith of Mephistopheles is open in lands where Asmodeus has God, but remains hidden where he is not. They take the form of hunters of deal breakers or teachers of those who wish to summon and control devils. But regardless, the faith and the priesthood with it prefer not to flaunt themselves, and true worship is alone with only flames to whisper secrets to. Mephistopheles does not believe in ostentatious shows of worship, and so his temples and shrines are subdued. Usually found in temples of Asmodeus, small quiet rooms filled with parchment serve as places where deals are struck under the Crimson Sun's eyes. When he has his own separate temple, it is usually found tucked away in the basement of buildings of governance or law, with gentlemen's clubs meeting there, only the innermost circles knowing the rooms and the group's true purpose. Mephistopheles rules over the eighth ring of hell, Cana. The region is one large abyss, with pillars rising from below and cages dangling down from above. Bridges and chains span the chasms, as the merciless winds of the circle continuously buffer all which exist here. Mephistopheles lives in the greatest palace of all, the Hellfire... I'm tripping over my words a lot today. The Hellfire Testament. A large pillar extending towards the sky, endless chains and cages decorating the outside, countless prisoners within lamenting their devilish bargains, and atop all, a flaming throne. Which brings us to our third side tangent, another devil who makes his residence in the eighth circle, Himberim, Infernal Duke of Immolation, Renewal, and Shackles. We know little about him outside of the fact that he has 3 heads, and if it matches myth, then they are of a serpent, a man, and a cat. But what we do have is his charge, Laswenspan, the greatest prison in hell, holding creatures whose souls are the most dangerous, but for some reason or another, hell keeps alive. And Himberim is their happy jailer. Now, on to other information. Mephistopheles' holy text is one he did not instruct his followers to make, but they formed anyway, the 3 lies. Penned 4,444 times, each volume has minor differences, with it being said only 3 copies are real and match each other. As for holidays, the closest thing is the debt. With it, a member of the congregation is chosen to have the debt. It then comes down to a period between a week and 6 months to pass on the debt by any means necessary. At the end of time, the path of the debt is tracked, and the one who holds the debt at the end must make a sacrifice to the cult. Finally, looking at allies, the faith of Asmodeus and the faith of Mephistopheles is one and the same. and worshippers of one will give praise to the other. There are also strong connections to the faiths of Dispater and Dolores. Outside of hell, there is connection with Abaddon and Norgabur, but most of these are arm's-length dealings, poking and prodding just how much knowledge the editor has. Now we end off with one more side tangent, the real-world origins of Mephistopheles. The name is the most recent of the names taken to be given to the archdevils and infernal dukes and several other fiends of different kinds, him being from Germanic folklore from the Renaissance, specifically from the tales of Faust, the man who made deals with devils. He is depicted as the messenger of the devil and his agent here on earth, earning the name of the Shadow of Lucifer and the Prince of Trickery. Further expansions list him as one of the 7 grand princes of hell, one of the first for angels to rebel against God and fall, and even another name for devil himself. Which brings to the end of today's video, and a look at the rulers of hell. However, Halloween itself is still on the horizon, so let's just look at one more. Not an archdevil, but a demon lord. Tune in next week to find out who. See you then.